Gut study in 1989 looks something like this. The gut is a 30-foot long tube. Food comes in, poop goes out. There are bacteria in the gut that make vitamin K, and finally, sometimes the gut gets sick and we need to operate on it. That was it. Now we're blessed with a totally different understanding. We know now that the gut is a dynamic, complex organ. It involves digestion, immunity, and a community of about 100 trillion bacterial inhabitants with whom we need to negotiate our resources. In this video, I'm going to break the gut into 3 regions with 3 distinct functions. Cortisol influences all 3. And as we go through these examples, see if you might be experiencing some of these symptoms as well. And as you will learn, the gut falls into the 3rd strata of my health systems pyramid. This means that for optimal gut function, we need a solid foundation beneath it with sound nutrition and balanced energetics. On the energetic 2nd level of the pyramid, there are 3 hormones: insulin, cortisol, and thyroid. And all 3 of these significantly affect the gut. But today we're focusing on cortisol. So let's first divide the gut into 3 regions to begin to simplify things. Region 1 involves our initial immune exposure to the outside world and the storage of our food. So in our sinuses, the immune system has a first crack at the microbes in the environment, and the stomach is basically used for the storage and for the acidification of our food. Region 2 occurs in the small intestine. Think digestive enzymes released by the liver and pancreas, immune surveillance, and lastly, digestion of our nutrients. Region 3 is in the colon, whose primary job is storage of waste and water balance for the body. But it's also here in the colon that the vast majority of our microbiome lives. So how is it that cortisol can affect each of these regions? We can break this down into 3 core functions of a healthy gut, and those are immunity, digestion, and border patrol. Okay, we'll get to that, but first immunity. So high cortisol suppresses immune functioning along the length of our gut, and clinically this can show up as like sinus problems in the nose and upper throat, coughing, mucus, and congestion. Second, we have digestion. The small intestine and its enzymes become significantly dysfunctional in a high cortisol state. We make fewer digestive enzymes. We can make both more and less stomach acid. And finally, we don't reap the benefits of fully digested and absorbed food. So there's a flip side, because remember that our immune system's job is to identify and protect us against foreign molecules. I like to refer to them as dangerous strangers. So if we are not fully digesting our food, notably our proteins, we begin to deliver more complex signals and more complex patterns to the immune cells that simply misinterpret them. Our immune cells let well-digested small pieces of proteins, like 1 to 4 amino acids, pass by unmolested. But when we start delivering poorly digested protein chains of 30, 100, 200 amino acids, we stand the risk of confusing these complex shapes with dangerous strangers. And these are molecules that ramp up our immunity unnecessarily. Third, we have our gut barrier and microbiome, and cortisol influences both. So studies show that high stress states can alter an organism's microbiome. We move away from healthier bacterial species that augment our health and wellness. So you might ask, why is our stress response so tightly tied to so many components of our gut health? And to answer this, we have to go back to our ancestral genetics. This was back before the agricultural era when we were hunter-gatherers. We were subject to periods of feast and famine. Cortisol was our primary stay-alive hormone because it breaks down our fat, our muscle, and our bone to liberate nutrients that we need to stay alive. Our biggest stressor was not having food, so evolution came up with a clever redistribution of energy. I mean, if we're not eating, we don't need digestive enzymes. If we're not eating, we're not taking in large loads of potentially dangerous bacteria, we probably don't need that extra stomach acid, which requires a lot of energy to make. And we certainly don't need all that blood flow going to our gut. Remember, we are starving here. There are no nutrients, so why send blood to the gut? There's one important point here, and that is that the gut sits on the 3rd level of the health systems pyramid, meaning it requires both underlying levels to work well. One of these is nutrition, Because with low nutrients, low calories, low vitamins, low minerals, and diminished blood flow to the gut, our single-cell lining mucosa is unable to replicate itself every 3 to 5 days. This precipitates leaky gut. Leaky gut precipitates symptoms, inflammation, and immune activation. So to fix the gut, we need to return to the health systems pyramid. We need adequate nutrition. This is foundational. This starts with a clean diet and a wide variety of phytonutrients. Adequate fiber. So meeting your nutritional needs will set you up for gut healing. You'll then need to focus on the 3 hormones of the energetic triad, which are insulin, cortisol, and thyroid, because when these 3 are working, we can adequately distribute blood and nutrition to our gut. And when the gut is working well from the tip of your nose to your bottom, all health, all wellness in the body follows suit. Now, I've given you the critical overview of how to begin fixing your gut. And if you guys want to know the exact supplements that can support gut healing and are proven by clinical science, be sure to click on the video listed in the link below, and I'll see you there.